Who says Dubai says real estate, and who says 2025 says technology. Our guest today was able to combine the two to have one of the most brilliant startups currently in the market in Dubai and around the world. Jad, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You're the founder of Huspy. But before we talk about Huspy, I want to talk about you. Tell us about yourself. Who's Jad? What brought you to where you are today? What brought you, let's say, at the very least to Dubai? And from there, what brought you to start Huspy?
I'm Lebanese originally, born and raised in Beirut until high school. I moved to the US to study, so I did a degree in applied economics.
Where?
In San Francisco. Nice. So I got very lucky with location and timing. So this was in 2012, which is the start of the tech boom. So the start of the Uber, Airbnb.
Right place, right time.
Exactly, right place, right time. And your mind opens when you see all of these booms going up, and you see people who are 22, 23 years old going and telling you, I'm going to take over the world. That this is something that you, in my opinion, you only see in the Valley.
And a lot of people, some people that I've interviewed here that went to Silicon Valley as well as part of their career, they all say the same thing. They say there's something about that place that makes you open your eyes or makes you feel that there's something really special happening there.
Heck, I'll tell you my opinion, man. In the Arab world, Lebanon, and me and you are both Lebanese, we're very entrepreneurial by nature. And that we don't lack entrepreneurial skills, but we think on a local level there's an ambition problem, not an entrepreneurial problem. Where you go to the Valley and literally have kids telling you, hey, I'm gonna take over the world, which is insane. And
they probably do some of them.
And they probably do some of them. The first few times that you hear it, you think these guys are insane. You don't believe them. So. Yeah. But with time, you understand that this is the norm, and you start seeing few examples, and you believe it, and it happens.
You get into the whole vibe.
Exactly.
All right, so San Francisco for your university.
San Francisco for university. Then I worked for 3 years in a longevity company. So this was early on in the space.
Medical longevity.
Health, medical longevity.
Where, there or?
In the US.
Okay.
Now the company just raised a Series D from Mubadala. And then I moved to Dubai. I wanted to understand a bit how investing happens. And I wanted to go back closer to home. Moved to Dubai, joined a venture capital firm called Beko Capital, which is
I know Beko, yeah.
One of the leading VC firms in the region. Got lucky with timing as well. So this was the time of the acquisition of Kareem, Giant Atlantic Investing Property Finder.
Yeah.
There was an inflection point in the region that was happening.
That was what year?
This was 2018 to 2020. And late 2020, I left to start Huspy.
How did that happen? It's a bit too simple. I left to start Huspy. What happened? What happened to you? Where did you think this is where the opportunity is? Where do you think, you know what? I don't want to be an employee anymore. I'm going to go do my own thing.
So there's no romantic story. It's a very pragmatic story.
Okay. That works too. You didn't have an aha moment, huh?
No, I'll tell you what happened. And maybe 1 year into the job, I wanted to go back to operating, and I wanted to build a company. That was the rationale.
Did you always want to build a company? Was that always the plan, or it just
that was
came
always
to
the
you?
plan. My father has a company, my brother has a company. We come from that tree.
Okay.
And I stumbled into real estate, and the first question in my head is why there's no companies that are worth 100 billion, 200 billion, since it's the biggest asset class in the world.
In real estate.
And so that was the first question. Second question is that even if you forget the 100 billion, 200 billion, there wasn't a clear successful model other than the portals. So the classified, which they solve search in a great way.
The property finders and so on.
The property finders of the world.
Shout out to Michael, our friend.
Shout out to Michael. And I spent probably 6 months trying to answer this question, and then we launched Huspy.
Did you leave your job by that time, or you were during the job?
No, it was during the job. And when I decided that, hey, I want to launch it, I left the job and started directly full time. And initially, Huspy was a mortgage company for the Middle East. That was
I remember.
That was the business, and that was the pitch. And we honestly believed that we're going to be a mortgage company for the Middle East. And now the
idea was what, a mortgage aggregator, basically.
It was exactly building an infrastructure for mortgage brokers. So they build on top of us their business. Now we have a much more complex business. So we have multi-products, multiple markets. So
And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a bit. So basically, you built Huspy because you realized that there was no 100 or 200 billion dollar company. Some people, real estate company, some people will tell you, oh, you know what, I saw that there was this problem or I was solving for that problem. You just thought, you know what, in this market, why isn't there such a big player in real estate? So what can I do to do it?
yeah, correct. That's one of the problems. Two, the pain point for the customer is still very high.
Yeah.
There was a lot of friction.
Especially in mortgage, yeah.
Exactly, mortgage and real estate. So you had friction on both sides. One on the experience and two on pricing, visibility on pricing.
Yeah.
So there was a clear problem also to solve in parallel.
Okay, so you decided you're going to do this mortgage platform that you called Huspy. What's next? You self-funded yourself. You said, okay, I need cash. You said, I'm going to start slow. I'm going to start big. What went through your mind? Because obviously this thing has scaled up very quickly, knowing now what we know today. So when you started, you didn't start the traditional way of, you know what, I'll start developing this slowly. We'll add one bank or two banks. You obviously had a much bigger picture in your head when you started it.
Like I wanted to launch quickly. This was important, and I had the opportunity to bootstrap the company for the first, let's say, a year or so.
You did the business plan on your own
I
because
did the
you had
business
that
plan
experience with
exactly,
Deco, I guess,
especially also you're a startup, and there's not much that you can go and target. So we hired few people. We launched incredibly quick. It took a bit longer than I wanted to. It was COVID time, so we couldn't get a license quickly enough.
Yeah.
So it took us 3-4 months to get a license, where usually it's a bit faster.
Yeah.
And we launched incredibly quickly, but the value prop, Judge was super clear. And the value prop for the mortgage broker initially, and that's why we got a lot of traction, is come make more money. So we give you a platform where you get access to all the banks. You can cater for your customers, where you get the best pricing and free of charge for the customer. And three, they make more commission than going direct. So the value prop was very evident.
Did entrepreneurship, when you started it in the first few months, did it feel natural or did it grow over time?
It grew over time.
It grew over time. So
it still grows
It was
today.
tough for you to move from the employee model to the entrepreneur model.
First time founder. So you have that syndrome. You still have the syndrome. It doesn't go away.
Yeah.
So you feel that in the beginning you're starting for the first time. Then you grow the business. Then you benchmark against something else, something bigger. So okay,
Were you sure that it was going to work?
No.
You weren't.
No.
You lost sleep over it?
I lost sleep a lot. Like there's a point in time when you know it's working, when you feel, and it's a feeling, when you feel that sales is
what's
coming.
the indicator that says that it's working? Especially in your
Few
field, in the
things.
tech field, sometimes it takes a long time before you become profitable. But how do you know it's working?
Sales coming inbound rather than outbound.
Yeah.
You feel demands coming internal.
Like a traditional business.
Like traditional business also.
How long did it take you to start breaking even?
4 years, even
So
we
you
went
felt
to-
so you felt that the business was doing so. See, this is something that we don't see often with entrepreneurs. The problem with entrepreneurs is that they're impatient, right? So they start a business, they don't make money after the first year, they don't break even after the second year. The third year they start breaking. They say this is not a very good business because I'm not succeeding at this because obviously I'm not making money. You're sitting there confidently telling me that it took you 4 years to break even, yet very quickly you saw that the business was doing very well. This is the disconnect between tech entrepreneurs or tech founders and the normal business people or entrepreneurs
Like,
out there.
I'll tell you something, George. So there's two ways of building a business, in my opinion.
Yeah.
One, you can build a business where you take profits out of it.
Yeah.
Which majority of people do that. The second way is when you raise venture money, and you should raise venture money when you feel there's a big market to go after, and there's a clear value proposition. If there's no big market to go after, I don't think anyone should raise venture money. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
You take dilution, the expectation of investors are very high. You're not going to give them the returns that they
headache,
want to.
yeah.
It's a headache.
You got to
and
put them on the
etc.
boards. Yeah.
Exactly. So you've raised external money as well. With us, if there's good burn and there's bad burn, that's how I say. If you're burning for expansion or new products,
burning for our listeners is going through your cash. Yeah.
it's drawing through your cash, so you're losing money
Yeah.
because you're opening new cities or you are launching a new product line. That's okay. If your business still have bad margins and etc. and still losing money because of that, Then after a few years, no, that's
time to pull
about
the
it.
plug, yeah.
That's time to pull
Yeah.
the plug. So I have a problem in the business. So we were in the first part. So I was very comfortable burning, and now we got to profitability, and now we're burning again because we're launching new products. And
But
I'm
you
very
know that
comfortable with
you know that you can be profitable, and you've done it before.
At any point,
What was
exactly.
the most difficult part of that journey, the first journey where you got to profitability?
The first part. Like
What was the most difficult part of starting your own business and of the first couple of years, call it, of having that transition where you were responsible for everything and
raising
you're
the
the
seed
make or
round.
break?
Raising the seed round of Huspy.
Raising the seed round.
That was the only round that was very difficult
Yeah.
for us, and I'll tell you why. We didn't have enough data, and our industry wasn't cool.
Yeah.
And when you go and tell people, hey, mortgages and Proptech and the whole industry, there was no big winner, so people automatically used to pull out.
Yeah.
And that was a
Who
big
did you raise it
problem.
from? Friends and family mostly?
My
or?
previous boss.
Your previous
So I got that. I got lucky that
Okay.
Amir, who was the co-founder of Beko and launched a new fund.
I know Amir. He's a shout out to him as well. Yeah.
Shout out to Amir as well. So I got Amir, and I got a fund from Europe in Athens, Venture Friends, and I got the Yafis that also, really.
Fantastic. And what was the nicest part? Now we talked about the most difficult part. What was the nicest part? What was the nicest feeling? Because the life of an entrepreneur, and I say this often to our clients, to friends, all that, it's a roller coaster. Some days you wake up and you're the king of the world, and some days you wake up and you say, what the hell have I done? Right? What was the most difficult part of that initial journey for you?
The most difficult? Yeah, it's a combination of two things in parallel. It was the difficulty of raising money, but also you have a value prop that's working. So ideally, you don't want to slow the business. And then parallel, 2020, 2021, you had a talent problem in Dubai. Today, if you go and tell, hey, I'm building a business out of Dubai, you have zero problem in talent. Everyone wants to move here and so forth. In 2020,
back then it was
2021,
different,
it was very difficult.
Yeah.
So one, you had to pitch the city, and two, you had to pitch an early stage company. So you still have a big risk that's associated into that.
Jad, you said you wanted to launch quickly and develop quickly. Why was speed so essential for you, do you think?
That's our DNA, man. Like we have a reputation in the market to be very growth oriented.
Yeah.
And we are growth oriented as a business. So for us, the way we look at it is put it as quickly as in the market, learn, even if it doesn't work perfectly the way you want to. And if you feel that you have something going, then double down on. If not, you save your time
Cut
and
your
effort,
losses,
and then move to second bet.
Huspy has developed a lot from the original idea or for what it was originally launched as, and we'll talk about it. But at the time where it was mortgages, what was you talk about the value prop a lot. What was differentiating it from other propositions that were out there?
Yeah, so basically the main customer that we have in mortgage is the mortgage broker, but by enabling the mortgage broker, you enable the end user, which is the client, whoever's getting the mortgage. So what we give to the broker, we give them two things. We give them technology, how technology helps the end user. It gives them speed, so the TAT is much faster, so you close transaction faster than anyone else. That's the first value prop.
And the banks went on board with that? Or you had it was a hard work to get them on board, or was it a case of get on board or lose out on business?
No, it's not like that. So the technology you're giving to the broker, you're streamlining the back office, so the bank is not touching that part of the problem.
Okay.
And two, because you have good contracts with the banks and because of technology as well with matching with the best product, then you can guarantee pricing for the customer. So for the customer, you're guaranteeing pricing and convenience, which is an incredible value proposition for end users.
Tell us about an early mistake that you did, because that's another thing that we like to talk about here, is that people don't realize that entrepreneurs are not perfect. You don't, like I said, you don't sleep and then wake up and then you become very successful. You make mistakes along the way, you suffer along the way. Give us one mistake that comes to mind that you've done on this journey that you won't forget, or that was a great lesson. I'm sure there's a lot of them, but
Man, we were very close to going to running out of to going bust. I think post Series A, when we raised a big amount of money, we hired maybe 120 people in 2 months.
Go fast, go big or go home.
120 people, no more. We had no onboarding. It was a mess. So you see your cost structure going through the roof, and then you become much slower as a business as well. So the typical overhiring problem that a lot of high growth companies have. We went through that. We went through it early, so you can still save the company. And now I say to people internally, Now I look back and I say, thank God it happened back then. If it happened at Series C, Series D, and
it would have been a
it would have
disaster.
been a proper disaster.
What the problem? Not the problem. The challenge with you is that you're a technology first company. I would imagine, being a fintech, proptech, whatever you want to call it. How do you balance the value brought in by, and this is a big subject at the moment with AI and all the AI that we're talking about. How do you balance the human value versus the technology value, and bringing those together? And are you a company that does very well that's doing very well because your technology is great, or are you a company that does very well because your humans are great and use the technology or leverage the technology, or is it a combination of both? What would you say? That's a question that we're seeing a lot nowadays, and when people say AI is going to replace humans and all that, so it's a debate that's ongoing. In your case, what was the...
I'll tell you, Jaj, you know that this debate of AI will empower humans, not replace humans. Yeah. That was the thesis of Huspy 5 years ago.
Yeah,
like that's how we started with. Even when you asked me at the beginning, what was the initial value prop? I told you we empower mortgage brokers.
Yeah.
Right, that's the full value prop. So for us, it's nothing different that we're gonna do. On the opposite, anything that's happening in artificial intelligence will double down on thesis that we have. We're not pivoting our thesis or recreating something new. It's the same exact thesis that we're continuing, and even the new product launches that we do is the same exact thesis, which is empowering another human being, which is the real estate broker in this case.
Do you think the UAE is has a good ecosystem for a company like yours? Do you think it's the best in the world, or do you think there's other places that would be better for it? Now it's done, but if you had to do it all over again, would you do it knowing
For
what
sure.
you know today? Would you do it in the UAE?
For sure. I'll tell you, if you ask me about the ecosystem, there's things that are best in the world, and I think there's things that can be better.
Okay.
What's best in the world? Everything, infrastructure and regulation, in my opinion, is best in the world. You can't have better
Really?
than that.
Infrastructure and regulation, you think
for
it's the
sure.
best in the world here?
For sure. Even for a company like Huspy that's going global and settle, we feel at home with the government. So that's the first thing. I think today you have no problem in funding in the ecosystem. Maybe 4 or 5 years ago you had a problem with funding.
Yeah.
3, I still think that there's more funding in the region than entrepreneurs. Yeah, people who are going to go and build
There's a lot
10,
of
20,
powder,
30.
yeah.
There's a lot of powder floating around. In my opinion, man, now like in 2026, especially if you're building a venture-backed business, you should aim to build a $5, $10, $20 billion business.
Yeah.
And
is this something that you always had in your head? Is this something that, I don't want to use the word obsess, but is it something you obsess by, a certain number in your head that you want to get the value of your company, or do you want to build a successful company and you don't care about the rest?
I think everyone cares. Everyone thinks about the number.
That's an honest answer.
That's an honest answer.
Yeah.
Number changes with time.
Of course.
But
what will be success to you? Not saying tell me the number. I'm saying what would be success to you? Is it to at some point build it to be a certain value company? Is it to be able to service X number of clients? Is it one of your goals? I know is to be in X cities in the world. What is what?
You know the answer.
Yeah.
So my wallpaper on the phone is 100 cities. So I'll tell you, and there's something that I told to the board once. If you think about the Middle East, even the wider Middle East, so the region and countries, in our opinion, there's not many companies who build a global business and in total, and there's no global brands. Maybe Emirates Airlines is on top. Maybe it's the exception to the rule, where if you go to the US, you have, forget the tech companies, there's many. You have Coca-Cola and Harvard and
of course, so many.
And bear in mind that this part of the world, at some point in time, innovation used to come from here. The letter used to come from here. So for us, it excites us a lot about potentially going and building a global business, and that's a KPI
the first
that we're going
globally
there.
exported business. That's
Exactly.
not an Emirates or something like that.
Exactly, especially in technology.
All right. So we were saying that Huspy had developed over the years. You started with being a mortgage business. I remember Virtuzone, we started working with you when you were a mortgage business. And a couple of years ago or a few months ago, you decided to pivot a bit. I don't know if pivot is the right word. You decided to add on some
A new product.
A new product and new services. Tell us a bit about that.
So 2 years ago, roughly, we launched a real estate business. The real estate business has the same exact thesis as what we build in mortgages.
By the way, I tried to launch a real estate business and I failed miserably with Virtuzone. So
Okay.
you already have one up on me.
Okay. So the real estate business, the thesis is exactly the same as mortgages, meaning we empower someone, and this side is, and in this case, sorry, it's the real estate broker. We give them the best technology, the highest commission, and the infrastructure to close their business, meaning contracts, developers, and the marketing cloud. Same exact thing as
What
we've
does this
done.
technology provide to a broker that's not there today?
So it's combination of two things. So one, you have office on the go, so automating the back office completely. So we have a KPI intern that we call it zero admin, and two, a data play. So a lot of matchmaking and stuff like that. And this is the industry as a whole. So you need a lot of collaboration, a lot of speed, and finding the right properties and stuff like that.
And that's the
So-
product that you're taking to the world today.
That's the product that we think we think we have the best product in Europe and the Middle East. So we're very comfortable with the product that we have. Even internally, the way we build the product, we can launch a city in 5 minutes. So you go on the back office, any city manager, any GM can pick all the features that they want in any language, and they launch a city.
And you were sharing with
on
me
the spot.
you were sharing with me some crazy metrics. You went into, if I remember correctly, it was Madrid.
Yeah.
And you were able to onboard in a matter of weeks. I don't know how many % of the brokers in Madrid.
So I'll tell you. Usually, any city that is longer than 8-9 months, we're market leaders. That's usually how long it takes us.
Yeah, but
In
market
smaller-
leaders in 8 months is insane. It's, you
Eh,
say
but
it
bear in
like you're a
mind-
bit disappointed about that.
The value prop is no, but on the opposite. I think we're executing well. Bearing in mind that we have very very strong value proposition. So in Europe, especially, the commission is very skewed to the company, not to the agent. Even though the agent does the majority of the work, so they're keeping 15-20% of the
So
commission.
your model of giving 60%, 70%
We're
is
paying
really
3 times higher. We're giving the best technology. And we're giving infrastructure. So the value prop is really really strong.
No-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And so in tier 1 cities, taking us roughly around 9 months. In tier 2 cities, it takes us a bit less because the
There's
competition
less brokers, yeah.
and
And less competition.
brokerages.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So how many cities have you conquered, quote unquote, so far?
So last year we launched 7 cities. We're a total of 10. We are in 3 countries. So we're in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and Riyadh in Saudi as of 3 months ago. And we are in 7 cities in Spain. Most major cities in Spain, to the exception of Barcelona, that we're launching in March.
Why did you choose Spain as the first European country?
Market fragmentation. So just for you to have a feel a bit, you have 600,000 transactions in Spain, 130,000 brokers. So on average, a broker does a bit more than 4 transactions a year. So the market is very broken. No concentration in one city. Madrid is 16%.
Easier to penetrate,
Easier to penetrate. And because it's very, very fragmented, you need thousands of brokers for you to be able to build collaboration, scale, etc., which is where we can do the most impact.
How do you handle, Jad, when you're growing at that pace? How many employees are you now?
We're around 400 people.
Okay, 400. And you're dealing with multiple brokers now. The more you get into a city, the more
thousands.
you interact,
Thousands
thousands of brokers. How do you handle something growing so fast and knowing you a bit, keeping control? Because you're a bit like me. You have a bit of a control, let's say it, we say the control freak side to you. I have that as well. And I know for me, when we grew fast with Virtuzone, one of the challenges I had is how do I keep control of everything and all the processes until I understood that I can't. And I have to let go and trust my people that are in place to take over the sub tasks that were required, or the subsections that were required.
Like I'll tell you. One, we have a really good mid-management and senior leadership, and I work directly with both of them.
And you were able to delegate and let go, or you're working on it?
I delegate.
Don't lie to me.
I delegate to people who build their trust.
Okay.
So initially you come in, you build it.
Okay.
Then when you build it, you have autonomy.
Fair. That's fair. So you seem to be dealing with it much easier than I did. It took me a long time for me to trust people.
When you perform, you're good to go.
Yeah.
When you come initially, you need to build a trust.
Yeah.
That's
of course, I work that way too.
That's the first thing, and the second thing, even with all of that, I arrived at the office 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m., and I stay super late. So there's a high commitment that goes on board, but also the top, let's say 30-40 people in the company, they have a crazy work ethic, and it cascades down in the whole organization.
So you're known to be very tough but very fair. and I think that's to your credit because it's something that's
Who told you that?
a few people have told me that. I do my research before these interviews, Jad. I think that's a great quality to have. I think being tough is something that's necessary, especially in a very competitive world and when you're dealing with other people's money or investors' money. And I think being fair is a quality that people appreciate, especially your people appreciate in you, and it allows you to make decisions without being questioned all the time or being challenged and so on and so forth, as much as being unfair. What to you is non-negotiable in terms of your top generals around you and their work ethic?
I think I'll tell you something. If you look a bit at the leadership of Huspy, let's say you have around 11, 12 people
Who are the core?
who are the team that reports directly to me. I think, to the exception of a couple, everyone's internal promotion from internal. Even the layer below
That's
that.
a lot. That's good. Yeah.
And I think that's the right thing to do, because people, their instinct is they think the grass is always greener outside.
Correct.
So they go externally. Where if you manage to find gems internally, it's the right thing to promote people.
Of course.
But also it's the best bet for the company. They have the most context, right?
And
the
they
business.
live the values, they live the culture, they
Exactly.
grew up with the culture. It's very difficult.
Exactly.
One of the most difficult things to teach, and I always say it, is culture and teaching people to care. I don't think you can teach people to care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we promote it within a lot. And even when you open a new role, if we can't find it internally, we go outside.
Yeah.
So
we do the same.
And the example that I gave you is the one that I just gave now with my team. So this is a bit on the fairness. The second thing, in my opinion, a lot of the friction that you have with people start with the recruitment process. So people having wrong expectation. We are incredibly vocal that it's a high intensity environment, incredibly vocal. And I repeat it. I say to people literally word by word. I know a lot of companies tell you it's not 9 to 6. And we're not 9 to 6, but I really mean it's not 9 to 6, and it's a high intensity, high decision making. So I make sure that they visualize it.
Yeah.
And when people come in, they know that this reality, and they have to be ready at their point in time. And let's say, for example, if someone's looking for work-life balance, and I'm not saying that's the right thing or the wrong thing, we're just not the right place for people. So in the recruitment, we look for skill set and personality.
Personality is very important.
Personality is very
A lot of people ignore that.
We like tigers, you know.
Yeah.
We like this personality a lot.
That's why still till today at Virtuzone, every single person that we hire, I have to meet them, even if it's for 1 minute, to have a chat, because I need to see if they fit the culture or not.
Exactly.
One of the biggest mistakes we've done in the past is we always used to hire people that on paper were
I've done
excellent
that
for
too.
the job,
I've done
excellent
that
for
too.
the job, that had all the requirements, and then you come in and the guy looks like an alien in the middle of
I've done that
of
too
the
also.
office, you know. What trends, in your opinion, will reshape the real estate market in Dubai in the next 5 to 10 years? Besides the entry of tech players like you and things like that, do you think that the whole market's going to be digitalized very quickly? Do you think that we're going to see different types of transactions? Do you see that new technologies are going to be abundant? How do you see it happening?
Oof, man, I don't know. I think 5 to 10 years is so.
5 years, correct?
Yeah, it's I don't know what I would tell you over the next 2 years. That for me. I think over the next 2 years, it's incredibly clear. And you see them forming. You have a government agenda to take contracts, etc. digital. So that's incredibly clear. Workflows are getting automated.
Who's in danger when these things happen? Which workforce is in danger?
I don't think
Conveyancing
anyone.
and these things?
I don't think anyone, but I think there's going to be an imbalance of power. So some people who have a lot of power today in the ecosystem will have a bit less power.
Because they haven't digitized, or they don't have the right tools.
Exactly.
Interesting.
But too, if you look today already at the infrastructure that's existing, in my opinion, it's probably one of the best infrastructure, and I would compare it here to Europe. You're miles ahead. Like
in terms of flexibility, agility, and all that, and turnaround time?
Data, that's the first one. Speed, that's the second one. If you go to Europe, in many places still, you're operating in complete ambiguity.
Darkness, yeah.
So complete darkness. I think we're already ahead of
Are you
other
finding
places.
it difficult to operate in Europe because of these things, or no? Or not really, because you've developed the product, you're just applying it maybe?
It took us a while to get there.
Yeah.
There was a steep learning curve for Huspy in the first year. So one, in terms of regulation, not on the real estate side, but on the company level, and
Yeah.
you open a lot of companies with labor laws, with and social
notorious for
security.
that, yeah.
Exactly. So there was a big learning curve there. The second thing, you need to understand a bit how the infrastructure of the country works in terms of where data is stored,
Yeah.
who are the good agents, etc. Once you figure this out,
Data protection and
exactly,
all these laws, yeah.
which takes a while, it becomes an advantage to you. But for us, we learned a lot, and learning for us meant spending a lot of money and spending a lot of time.
Yeah,
It's both.
of course. Jad, you told me before about the fact that that the business was growing so fast that when it grows so fast, you also compromise sometimes on the quality. You compromise on control. Definitely, you compromise. You said we hired 130 people, no onboarding process, nothing. So things were a bit all over the place. Have you ever thought of, or do you ever think of slowing down growth a bit to get the quality better? Or for you, growth is much more, growth and the speed of growth is much more important than the delivery? I know both are important,
Yeah.
but are you ready to sacrifice some of the service quality just to get the growth? Because to you, that's
No.
more essential.
No, I'll tell you a bit how I think about this problem. So initially, when you're still, let's say, when you raise seed money, Series A money, you're still like a year and a half or 2 years old as a company. You don't have a perfect product. Product takes time to build.
Of course.
So there's a indirect correlation between quality and growth. So now, especially with the products that we've been building for the past 4 or 5 years, even if we grow at an exponential rate, the quality is the same. Right? So we
quality
can
of the
maintain
product,
the,
yeah.
the quality of the product is the same. So we can deliver the same service for people at scale. So we don't have that problem. When we launch a new product, you go into the same curve, same thing. So initially there's a trade-off, and then when the product's perfect, then you don't have that trade-off. Now we don't compromise on quality versus growth because we have a brand reputation. So we have a brand that to go
uphold.
and where before in the beginning you're
just trying to get yourself everywhere.
exactly.
In terms of the technology, so you tell me when now we have a great product, or we have the challenge with technology is that it's always evolving, right? And new technologies are coming into place. We see it now with AI, with all these things, and I'm sick of saying this word, but we have to say it, the AI word. How do you think that you have it's a majority of your work is keeping up with the technology, or do you think that the technology that you have in place is good, you just have to tweak it and just keep it up to date in order to, or is it a continuous kind of improvement, innovative type of approach for you to keep leading in that market, in your specific market? Is it something that's continuous? Is it something that you have to rethink every day, or is it something that, you know what, it works, you just have to tweak it to make sure that it continues working?
I truly believe that the tree grows or dies. You stop innovating, you die. That's you become an incumbent. That's how it is. When the wave of AI started, let's say a couple of years ago, which we've been investing in AI for the past couple of years, the first 2-3 months there was a lot of ambiguity on what's out there. The way we think about it is that you have the AI, which is all the chatbots and agents and etc. That's already a commodity. You can take it out of the box. We built our own Huspy, so that you don't have any defensibility, and that's going to be the norm of any company. And two, if you have any proprietary data that you can build on top. So if you look a bit on where we stand today as Huspy, this year we're going to have tens of thousands of agents and mortgage brokers. You're going to have each broker interacting with the app multiple times a day. You're speaking about millions of data points per day. That is raw, that is pure, that you can go and build on top. And I don't think any other company globally has that amount of information.
Is data security something that worries you?
Data security,
important, of course, but does it worry you?
Data security, we have best-in-class standards because we know how sensitive of a topic, and we know that ethically that's the right thing to do. So anything that we do has to be anonymized and has to be within the GDPR regulation.
What's the most dangerous for you? I mean, it's a hypothetical question. What's the most dangerous thing for you to lose today? Is it your technology, or your, how can I say this, your operating model?
You can't lose your operating model. How do you use your operating model?
Meaning, if somebody copies what you do and does it copy paste, but has a lot more money to throw in, or whatever it is.
So-
what I mean by this question is your value in your technology, or your value is how you built all this together?
So I'll tell you. So we actually have a lot of competition that are actually paying higher than us. This was competition that mainly came for the past year and a half or two. When you go and you pay someone 3 times more, it's 3 times more.
Yeah.
When you go and you tell someone, hey, I'm gonna pay you 10% more, 20% more, where this person has built all their systems and data with you over the past few years, and bear in mind that the way people generate business is commission times transactions. So you
Yeah.
need to get velocity also. The risk is way too big for them to go and switch. So actually when people came and paid more than us, we didn't lose any business. So the business is very defensible.
Super. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs today that want to get into fintech? What are lessons learned that you've learned over the last few years that you would say, you know what, careful of this, careful of that, don't do this or don't do that? Anything that comes to mind?
Like what I can to people that what I can tell to people that raise venture money, etc. They have to find a way to generate hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. In my opinion, for them to be able to do that, they unless there's a specific sector, but in general, it's very difficult for them to do it in the Middle East. They have to go global.
They have to raise globally.
And they have to go globally. They can
they have
raise
to go
locally,
globally, yeah,
but
yeah.
they have to go globally.
So they have to think outside the Middle East.
They have to, in my opinion.
And you're seeing more and more companies that are thinking outside the Middle East, and the likes of Huspy and these companies that are going to start going global. Like I was telling somebody the other day, now you go to London, you see restaurants that were actually born in Dubai. It always used to be the other way around.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing, because before you used to come here, you see restaurants, oh, I know this restaurant from London. Now you go to London, you say, I know this restaurant from Dubai. So we're starting to export slowly at a smaller scale. We're starting to export these call them inventions, call them whatever it is, from here. And Huspy now in Spain, for example, it's a Dubai-born company. Which
100%, and I'll go a bit into details. So we're launching Italy also in Q2.
Amazing.
So in 6 months we're going even to the 4th country that we have, and hopefully we feel that we're gonna lead the category that we're in. But what I would say, it's not only companies from here going global on a smaller scale. There's companies who are leading their categories and going on a bigger scale. I would put Sharif as a very good example.
Yeah, you're right.
It's an incredible
Yeah.
business. I don't know how many countries and how many cities, but my estimation is like maybe 15, 20 countries,
Yeah.
30, 40 cities. Quality is
very well.
incredible,
You're right.
doing incredibly well. Sharif is a very good
Consistency.
standard.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. What's the biggest leadership lesson that this whole project has taught you up till today? I'm sure there'll be many more to come.
Like in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, this hire and trust and empower, I don't think that's the right framework. I would say is hire, earn your trust, and then empower, which is a massive difference.
Yes.
If you trust way too early, empower too early,
And meanwhile, what happens? You take all the burden?
I take all the burden now.
So if you were global tomorrow, and God forbid you lost your 3 top generals, for any reason, just hypothetically, and you have to hire 3, you would take the burden of those 3 generals until the new ones earned your trust.
I would.
Work 24/7.
I would, but I don't think my top 3 journalists will be there. They're my best friends.
We said hypothetically, right?
Hypothetically, you're correct.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, you're correct.
Type, Jad, we're gonna finish with this. I want you to finish this sentence for me. The future of home buying in Dubai or in the world depends on ...
On the real estate agent.
You really believe that the real estate agent makes it or breaks it?
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, we have a few minutes, so I wanna debate with you on something that I always had a pet peeve for, and this is gonna give me a lot of enemies. I always thought that real estate agents are overpaid for what they do. Why? Being younger, I had this vision of a real estate agent as the guy that goes, opens the doors, shows you the house, comes back, locks the door, leaves, and then takes 2, 4, 7, depends on which country you're in, % of the price of the sale. Now, obviously, having invested a lot in real estate and dealt with real estate agents, I've realized that there's much more to it than that. And I do agree with you that a real estate agent is a good real estate agent is very important. Unfortunately, I think in Dubai we have a mix of good ones and bad ones and useless ones. What do you think of commissions in general and the percentage of commissions around the world that go to the real? Do you think it's a fair number?
So I'll tell you just on the difference in quality
And
of
I don't want
agents.
to put you on the spot because I know that you work
No,
with a lot
no
of
worries.
agents.
No, on the opposite. Thank you for the question. What you mentioned on difference in quality in Dubai, it's actually a global issue like any other industry. It's not only related to real estate. So in any industry, you have good people, you have bad people.
Yeah.
And the way we see it is our job is to put a world-class training and world-class technology to have the best network on the ground. So that's the first thing. The second thing, I think the real estate agent does a lot of work that people don't see. So in our opinion, the way we see it, it's a supply game in total. And the difficulty to source the property is incredibly hard. You had a company before, so
Much more difficult than selling. Yeah.
much more difficult than people think. And if you have a good property at a good price, it will sell itself.
Yeah.
So what people see, which is the visit, and that's the small part of.
Yeah. So my problem is, you see a property that a guy, the guy advertises on one of the portals, and you call him and you want to go see it. Yeah, go. It's open. Go see it. You go see it. You like the property. Okay, I want to buy it. Okay, here, give me 4%. But what have you done? Besides listing it on a portal, what have you done? Where's the value added of that specific
It's a
agent?
sourcing play. You're finding the right property at the right price. That's what you should pay for. And I think if an agent gives you a really good property with good conditions at a really good price, I think it's worth the commission.
So that's what you. So see, that's something that I learned. So you're not paying him for the actual work that he's done. You're paying him for actually having sourced the property and put it there, and he's the one who's giving you access to this property.
Exactly.
And is that how most people see it?
I don't think so. I think most people see it the way you described it initially.
Exactly. And is there do you do something within your platform or within your ecosystem to educate the end users or to educate the buyers on this or the sellers? Or is it something that maybe you should be doing?
I think today, if you think about Huspy, we still don't have a very strong consumer product that we're launching a consumer product in H2 to educate the customer more about things like that, for example.
Yeah.
But today the main customer that we have is the mortgage broker and the real estate broker.
So it's
That's where our
interesting. So
technology
you
goes
have thousands of brokers that can have 1,000 different styles with customers, and that's something that you have no control over. But it doesn't matter because you're not exposed to the end user.
We do have we have control over because we do a training process. So every person who goes through a training process, there's an exam at the end. You have to go through that. And two, there's parameters in place to make sure that we're putting a floor on the quality. So the better customer experience you get, the more leads you get, the more you make money, for example. So this is a typical marketplace process to make sure that the quality that's being provided for the end user is high.
Finally, Jad, you're brilliant for having obviously built this, and I know for a fact you're a very, very hard worker. Do you have any other ideas in mind without sharing them that you'd like to do, or is this? Do you think that you wouldn't do this all over again because looking back at it, it was such hard work?
I have ideas inside Huspy, so we're doing new bets.
But that's good, because that's you're launching new products.
Exactly, we're launching a couple of products internally.
Are you the type of person that says, "I wonder what Huspy will be doing in 10 years"?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but that's a trait of the most amazing entrepreneurs. Is I remember I was working in a publishing house earlier in my career, and I remember the owner, who's done very well for himself, come and tell me, I wonder what we're going to be doing in 10 years. I'm like, what do you mean? Well, we're publishers. We don't know.
And George, I'll give you an example. We started with the goal to build a mortgage business for the Middle East.
Yeah.
We never thought we were going to be in Spain. Now we're launching Italy. We're a couple of products. We're going to launch even more.
You might get into cars, into airplanes, into flights. Who knows what you get into?
Exactly.
Jad, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your generosity and for sharing with our viewers your insights. We wish you best of luck with Huspy, who's already well on the way to becoming one of the most successful stories of the last few years here. Well done to you and the team. Thank you all for listening, and I hope that you enjoyed Jad's insights and all that you need to know about tech startups. Thank you.